Hello, hello. It is Sara Waggle, astrologer and leadership coach here for this Moon Astrology Tarot, this time for the moon in Capricorn. This is August 15th through the 17th, so Thursday into Saturday. And we are waxing to a potent full moon on the 19th. I know I've mentioned it a million times, but maybe you're just finding me. So welcome if you're just finding my YouTube channel. I appreciate you. I hope you're enjoying the Aquarius experiment. I'm having a lot of fun with that. And so I hope it's being helpful. I would love for you to drop comments and let me know what you are experiencing as we experiment with various spiritual tools and practices moving through that. Of course, all of my links are below if you want to check out the Leo season, sun and rising signs that does cover this upcoming full moon and Mercury retrograde and all of the things. And of course, you can book with me, you can buy me a coffee, all of those things to support my channel. So, okay, so we're building up. However, this is at least a Capricorn moon. The moon is a detriment, so it's not as emotional. It's not at its happiest, which could be good, could be bad. It's also an earth sign, so it could be grounding, but maybe not, because by the time this moon finishes in Capricorn, Mercury will be in its square to Uranus. So now we're back to Mercury Uranus in fixed signs. And I believe Uranus is now at 27 degrees. I believe now Uranus is on Algol, which is the fixed star of the head of Medusa. So we had a Mercury square Uranus. I want to say it was July 21st of this year was when Mercury squared Uranus the last time, and he's going to do it this time and then another time when he goes direct. So, and the sun's going to be at 25 degrees by the time the moon is done in Capricorn, and Venus will be at 15 Virgo, so she'll be getting close to her opposition to Saturn at 17 Pisces. And Mars will perfect his square to Saturn. Mars in Gemini will perfect his square to Saturn in Pisces as well. So lots and lots and lots going on and lots more coming. So hang on tight. It's going to be okay. Just know that it's all going to be okay. We had a Mercury conjunct Uranus, or Jupiter conjunct Uranus back in April. And it was kind of like everything's going to be okay. But there's going to be bumpy roads. So it's kind of like you're on a whitewater raft and you're about to go down a waterfall, right? Or I guess it's a waterfall. So what happens when I've never gone whitewater rafting. Don't know why I would channel that example, but I always channel examples that I have no clue what I'm talking about. So that's always fun. Thanks, universe. But again, and I've used the roller coaster analogy as well. And so it's going to be a matter of you just relaxing and going along with the ride, because it is a ride, right? It's a ride. And so I'm not, I don't want to undermine anything that's going on for you personally. And I also want to just let you know that it's all going to be okay, and to take time to do some very deep breath work, and to take time to connect with yourself, with your physical body, with your higher self, to really feel into your experience of this time and space. A lot of us are going through, really potent up levels, and at the same time experiencing a lot of sadness. And so it's all concurrent, it's all happening at the same time. And as we get closer to the full moon, we are also building two T squares between the fixed signs and the mutable signs. So it's a lot at once. And Jupiter and Mars are in Gemini. So it's a lot at once. It's a lot of information. So disconnect if you have to. Get away from it all if you have to. Take a walk outside without your phone on, without your headphones on, so you can quiet your mind and be with nature and all of those things. Get yourself grounded. Meditation, drumming, listening to some nature sounds, if that's what works for you. Getting outside is obviously the best, but if you don't have that option, or that doesn't serve you or support you, getting in tune or in touch with something natural will be helpful. Of course, that also includes how you eat, what food you're eating, beverages you're consuming, things like that. And so this may not be the good time to indulge in your favorite coffee shop latte, because the caffeine might be too much. That's something also to be aware of, is when the caffeine is too much and it makes you jittery, or it makes you, foggy minded, and things like that. So I think there's a lot to consider with this moon in Capricorn. As we had like a crazy Sagittarius moon, now we're going to have a crazy Aquarius moon. So this moon in Capricorn is kind of like I almost want to say it's like preparation. It's not such an emotional moon, which is good. We can kind of emotionally, disconnect and detach. However, it's an emotional time, right? So it's while it's an opportunity to sort of not be so emotional, it's also an emotional time. So emotions are bubbling and getting a little bit feisty, maybe a little bit. Like roaring, but I feel like a roaring, like a roaring boil, or a rumbling boil, or something like that is kind of happening. And so the things are kind of bubbling to the surface. And so definitely, take time for yourself, be compassionate with yourself and with others around you, because remember that while you may be doing spiritual work, you may be practicing spiritual work, people around you are not. And disconnecting or sort of distancing yourself from, the people who are not doing work like this, or at least acknowledging, if you need to be around them, acknowledging that they're not where you are, and that it's okay that they're not doing this work. Not everybody's meant to do this work for more than one reason. All right, let's get some tarot. There's kind of not much there's tons to talk about, but and I'm going to apologize now that the Aquarius full moon, which will be my next video, will be long. I'm gonna do my best to dissect it. I'm also filming these on this one on August 5th, so I may wait a bit to see what happens before I film the Aquarius full moon. And maybe I won't. We'll just see. We'll just see. But there is a lot going on, no doubt, no doubt. So let's see what's up with the tarot, and get you some support and things like that. Just keep your wits about you. It's really going to be okay. It's just going to be a really rocky ride. Oh, I was thinking a minute ago about, I went sailing last year, and I'd never gone sailing before. And the instructor was showing me how to like stabilize myself on the boat by putting my feet like across the boat, so that I was basically laying down on the boat. And he's laughing like the whole time. He's laughing. We're making these like sharp turns, or what felt like sharp turns to me, an inexperienced sailor. But the people who were experienced sailors were having the time of their life. And so think about that, or feel into that as we move through all of this, that like people who are experienced with drastically uprooting and changing their life are kind of in it for the ride. And those who maybe are less experienced with changing their life, or life having all these upsets, are laying across the boat with their feet propped on one side and hanging on for dear life on the other. So either way, though, as long as the instructor, or the person of authority knows that everything's okay, it's going to be okay. But how much trust do we have in our current authority figures? There's that to consider too. Are you kidding me? The Queen of Cups in reverse. Again, we've had this card a lot lately, so I'm guessing that people are really in an emotional upheaval. And I think that's about the contrasting emotions of, good things are happening, yet sad things are happening. Up levels are happening, but things have to go away, and that's hard to process and hard to digest and hard to be with, and that kind of thing. So, you know, take time for your emotions, take time to cry, take time to process what's coming through that you're having to let go of. You know, a lot in the Aquarius experiment, we're talking about the intentions that we set and what we're willing to adjust or make, you know, how we're willing to make space to work through those intentions or to have those intentions come into fruition. Let's get a clarifier on that. I think it's interesting that I was watching another astrologer earlier, and that astrologer also pulled the Queen of Cups in reverse. So there's something going on with that Queen of Cups in reverse. That it is coming up in a lot of tarot videos right now, or at least in the ones that I watch. This is the Sun in reverse. Oh my goodness. Okay. I think we got this combo before. I said it in earlier videos for this Leo season, even if I said, I might have even said it in the Leo season, sun and rising signs, that this is the month where people, if people are going to get derailed, this is the month where people could easily get derailed, because of just everything that's going on in so many directions and so much information overload. And so, you know, this is really focus on where you want your trajectory to go. You get to co-create it with God source universe, with your higher self, with your, maybe even your ancestors that are there to guide and support you. Maybe even, you know, just tuning in. Where are the positive things showing up that you can follow, the breadcrumbs, even, you know, even if it's breadcrumbs, maybe it's golden nuggets for all I know, you know, maybe for you it's golden nuggets and you're going to keep, but for some people it could be breadcrumbs. And if it's breadcrumbs, follow the breadcrumbs that may lead to golden nuggets. And so, you know, but you've got to be open and willing to be attentive to the nuggets that God source universe, your higher self is placing in front of you to show you where to go. And if you're not open and willing, you're not going to see them anyway, right? You can talk about the fact that as somebody who's blind, you can't see the birds or whatever, but if you're not even open to feeling or noticing the signs and signals that God source universe is putting in front of you, you're missing the plot. You're missing the point. So be attentive, be aware, find the things that actually do speak to you, that do support you, in staying in your own lane, and, you know, all of that. Also turn off the news. It's information overload. If you're a 24/7 news watcher, I'm sorry. But now is the time to really turn off information. You know, go watch your favorite ooey gooey, Melrose Place, Beverly Hills 90210 equivalent to my 90s shows. Uh, um, what am I thinking of? Smut? Is that a good word? We'll use smut. You know, what's your favorite thing to kind of go get lost in? Is it a novel like a Stephanie Plum? I don't know. That's the last time I read something funny. We got the snake. Yikes. Okay, shed old skins. Yeah, and I mean, we still got this Neptune. We can't ignore Neptune. Can't ignore Neptune and Pisces. Neptune's still at 29 degrees retrograde, but he's still at 29. We are shedding some old stuff. And when you're shedding, it can look a little ugly. Does anybody follow Katie Van Slyke on TikTok? If you don't, you should, because Katie Van Slyke is cool. And she's such a delight for what we're all going through right now. And she's just so positive. And anyway, my point in saying that is that when the baby horses, when the baby foals are shedding, she refers to them as moldy or moldy cheese, because they've got splotches of the color that they were born with and splotches of the color that they're going to shed out to be. And so, you know, think about that. Like when we're shedding, sometimes it looks splotchy, it looks moldy, it can look pixelated. And if those sorts of images don't resonate with you, think about when you are in a dialogue or an email and somebody misses their grammar and it doesn't come out, the message comes out unclear because their message is one long paragraph with no commas, no periods, no nothing. And you're like, and if you're a screen reader user, particularly, I believe it's Jaws, that will read until you're sitting there and the voice keeps getting deeper and you're like, can this thing please breathe? It sounds like Jaws needs to take a breath. That's kind of where we are, is like everything looks a little bit ugly. It looks splotchy or, something like that. I'm thinking of screen readers. I know I have a blind audience, so sometimes visualizing, and even people who have the inability to visualize images, it's really a thing. And I've been practicing talking more about it. But it's something like that where, maybe Jaws comes out with some gobbledygook and you're like, what did he just say? And you kind of got to go back character by character to figure out what he just said. Something like that. So, or you read a mess of letters and they just make no sense to you, right? Or you look at a picture that's just lines and stuff and it makes no sense to you. So that's what this feels like, is we're shedding this old way of being. And as we're in the midst of it, it looks that way. It looks like the screen reader can't interpret what was typed on the screen. It looks like the moldy cheese on the horse that's shedding from its full coat to its yearling coat or weanling coat or whatever. It looks like that. It looks messy. It looks ugly. And that's just part of the process that which we're going through. So I hope that was supportive. Again, you can check out the Leo season, sun and rising signs video as we head to this full moon. Again, I will get a message out. I will also pop in with messages if I feel like they are necessary. Don't be on the lookout for things like that. And yeah, thank you for tuning in, and I'll talk to you on the next video. Bye for now.